Hey, my name is Billy Weaver, and I am the creator of Abbey Roads Quilt and Sewing. I'm based in Garner, North Carolina, and I am new to the whole sewing realm. My grandmother, just a little bit of basic information about me from um, my past, is my grandmama um, taught me a little bit of the sewing process when I was a child, and I haven't picked it up since then. And I had this aching, like I knew that if I had a sewing machine in the past, you know, probably year or so, I knew that if I had a sewing machine, I would probably be able to make stuff. So I asked Santa for a sewing machine, and I got one for Christmas. So I have been sewing for about 6 months, and in that time, I have been feverishly sewing anything that I can. Um, I am not a conventional um, person who sews. I do not follow patterns, which I know is probably faux pas for those of you who are more versed in the sewing process than I. I'm sure that if I was taught how to follow a pattern, I would probably not do it very well, because I follow what is in my head, and I have had some pretty phenomenal products and items that I have made come out that I've been very proud of, and everybody seems to really like. So I just get a feel, I get an image in my head, and I get a feel for it, and I just do it. I see what I want to make, and I make it. And because I don't follow a pattern, I think I might struggle a little bit in some areas. So in the videos that I'm going to be posting going forward, this is all new to me. This is my first true video on this YouTube channel. I have a couple other videos on my personal channel that I'm going to try to port over, but I realized, oh gosh, that's linked to me personally, and I want these videos and stuff to be linked to um, my sewing adventure through Abbey Road Sewing. The reason why I named it that is because I'm a huge Beatles fan, and I got to actually go to Abbey Road and walk across Abbey Road the Christmas of 2016. It was an amazing experience, and I actually may upload that video to this channel just to give you a little background of why I named my sewing venture Abbey Road Sewing. And I hope there's not like a copyright or anything like that. I'm not trying to steal thunder from the Beatles or anything. I just really love that area, and I love everything there really is about the Beatles. I digress. So, I have only been sewing since December, but I have cranked out some stuff. I have made probably 8 or 9 quilts, like four of them, four of them being full, like 48 by 70, 72, 76 inch stippled, using the free motion stippling process. And then, the other ones have just been, I've sewn them together, inverted them, sewn them together, and then flipped them inside out, and I didn't bind them. I've only actually bound one quilt, and that's the quilt that I made for my mother-in-law, which I actually gave to her last week for her 50th birthday. Um, and I was nervous. I was so nervous to do something like that. It just seemed so difficult. But I've made several quilts in this 6 months that I've been quilting. I've made underwear, I've made shirts, I've made bags. I call them hobo bags because they are actually just old shirt material, shirts that I've cut up and turned into like bags, actually. And they've actually turned out pretty good, and I haven't followed any patterns. So my goal here with my channel is to show you what I do and the images that I see in my head, and kind of show you how I make it all come together without following a specific pattern, because it can be done. I'm doing it, and so it can be done. Um, but one thing that I ask you guys, as I start getting folks that are interested in what I'm doing, if you see something that a process that I'm doing, and you think that I can do it in a more efficient way, please let me know. The only way I'm going to get better is to learn from you guys, and hopefully along the way, kind of teach you something if at all possible. That's my ultimate goal, and just to show you guys um, my journey as I create. And jumping back, with my grandmama, who is now passed away. She passed away in 2003, April 23rd of 2003. I think she would be proud, because she was a master seamstress. She was so good. She could do anything with her hands when it came to yarn or fabric or creating anything. So I really think that I'm making her proud, which is really kind of what this is all about, because she was my favorite person in the whole world. But I am starting right now one of the biggest projects that I've done so far. I just recently got back from Hawaii, and I'm going to try to make this video kind of quick. I just recently got back from Hawaii because my in-laws live in Hawaii. Just got back like 3 days ago, and there's something called a swap meet out there, and it happens at the Aloha Stadium on Wednesday and Saturday, and there might be some other days, but I only go on either a Wednesday or a Saturday, and they have one booth out there that sells nothing but Hawaiian fabric, and it's all 100% cotton. Primarily all of it's 100% cotton, which I prefer to use, but it depends on what I'm making. And it's so cheap. The quality of the material, and I'm going to show you some in just a second, but the quality of the material is fantastic, and they make their fabric. But it's so cheap. It's so cheap, and I splurged and brought some back, and now I am making it's ultimately going to be a free, I might not free motion this one. It's actually probably not going to be free motion, but I'm going to quilt it. But it's large. It's the biggest thing that I've made so far. And the reason why I stress that is because I have a machine that I think is a little small for what I'm doing right now, with where I'm at in my sewing abilities. But I have a Brother CE 1008. It is a computerized sewing machine. This area is fairly small. I feel like I need a much longer arm for where I'm at right now, but this machine is a beast. I think it costs, in my area where I'm at, North Carolina, it cost about $100, maybe $120. In that time frame, since December, since I got it for Christmas, I feel like I have mastered it. I probably shouldn't say master, but I know how this machine works. I know how hard I can push it, and I know what it can do. So if you guys are ever wondering, well, what kind of machine should I start out with? Don't be, what's the word I'm looking for? Intimidated by the fact that this is a computerized sewing machine. It has, I think it has right 100 patterns right here, with different feet that it comes with. It comes with predominantly everything you need, and it's got a small. My lighting in here is bad. I'll try to improve this as I go along. This really, honestly, is my first video, but it's very easy to use, and the user manual that comes with it, I have referred to in the first 3 months. I referred to that user manual often, and I highly suggest that if you are going to try to make this a passion and actually do it, that you be familiar with the user manual. And like I said earlier, I don't follow patterns. I haven't yet. maybe in the future when I'm taking on something that I just is overwhelming. Um, I don't like to read owner manuals either, but I did because I knew that I could do this, but I felt like I needed a little bit of direction. And the user manual that comes with the Brother CE 1008 is actually pretty good. It lets you know everything that you need to know when it comes to sewing. So I guess this is turning into somewhat of a beginner's video for somebody who is just trying to figure out what to do and where to go and how to start sewing. And I've grown into it. I've grown into this. I've actually turned a whole room into my sewing palace, I guess you could say. But I will start posting videos of the beginning, middle, and end, and everything in between of each product that I do going forward. And I also have a Facebook page. It's called, I think the technical thing is at Abbey Road Sewing. And I've got primarily I think all of the stuff that I've made or that I've sewed on there. And so feel free to check it out. It is at Abbey Road Sewing, ABBYROADSEW. SEW, yeah. So I will be keeping in touch and posting as often as possible. And since I don't follow patterns, I'm going to try to make this as short as possible, like I said. Since I don't follow patterns and I just see stuff in my head and I kind of bring it together and everything, I will show you what I do and how I do it. And you know, if you're watching this video and you feel like I could do it a different way and it could help me speed up my process, please let me know. But that's just kind of nature of the beast, considering I just create. I don't necessarily follow patterns. So that's me in a nutshell. Back here, well, right here, this is the wrong side of the fabric that I am making for this quilt that I'm actually keeping. But as you can see, the fabric on the inside for this quilt that I'm going to be putting on my bed, and that is the salvage, which will get eaten up because sometimes I don't cut that off, but I just know that it's there, and I do my 1/4 inch from here, and then I use my rotary tool and I get rid of it. But anyway, this is a Hawaiian fabric. I believe this fabric is called Pakaki flowers, maybe, but it's beautiful and I wanted to make a blanket out of it. And then behind me I have 2 fabrics that I am going to be starting on next, which I'm really excited about. That's some of the fabric that I brought back from Hawaii. So I look forward to hearing and reading and seeing and everything else that goes along with that. Your comments to this video. If you have questions about types of thread that work well with different fabrics, and I've learned so much so quickly. If you have a passion for it, you just dive in and everything falls into place. So I will be posting going forward, and I'll be looking at your comments and trying to learn from each of you that have something to teach me, and hopefully I can teach somebody something. So happy Tuesday, and I will see you soon. All right.